Hi guys, thank you so much for joining this 7 days class. My name is Samuel Linus and I'm super excited to have you here. At NEDI, we are a peer-to-peer edtech platform that allow people to learn in peers, groups, and communities. It simply means that gone are those days when you'll be learning alone and you have questions to ask, but nobody to ask questions. You wish you're a part of a community. You wish you have a mentor. You wish you have a learning mate, somebody you guys can learn and grow with. But unfortunately, you're learning online, so there is no one like that. But with NEDI, you have access to all of those things and even more. When you enroll for our platform, you have access to a one-on-one mentor. You'll be able to schedule a clarity call with your instructor at will. You will also join a support group where you can ask questions at any point in time. You will also be part of a weekly live class where you'll be learning and growing with other people. And guess what? You will also be paired with an accountability partner, somebody that you guys can learn and grow with and also build rapport as you advance in your career. And at the end of the career roadmap, you also get personalized portfolio review and job support. Don't forget to go on our platform and turn on your subscription. It's just a monthly token. That being said, don't forget to also subscribe on this particular YouTube channel so you'll be notified when we upload subsequent lessons, right? So without wasting much of our time, let's get into this particular video.
You're welcome back. In this video, we'll be treating loop. So let me just go ahead and do what we always do. Type loop.html in here, hit enter, our exclamation mark. So we have loop here. So let me type loop. I'll save this right now. Then I can minimize this. I can come here and so let me run it on our browser in our usual way. So basically I'm using hot reload to ensure that I'm running this. So let me just adjust this, put it underneath it as usual. All right. So everything that we're going to have for our console is going to display instead of our console right here, right? All right. So for loop, so one thing about loop is that it allows us to loop through an array of objects to carry out a certain operation. So that's just the simple thing. And loop is very easy. So I'm going to go through some types of loop that we could actually do or we could actually learn so that we could use that to do what we need to do, right? So let me proceed. So the first thing I'm going to do right now is to go to body and type script like this. So once I have something like this, so the next thing I need to do right now is to probably create my array. So I'll say constant. Let's use name, since we'll be using names since constant names. See, I'm already using constant. We've not done variable scope yet. So let me use variable names is equal to this. So let me just type series of name Samuel, comma Peter, comma John. All right, let me put this in quotes too as well. So we can loop through this stuff now and display some certain things right here, right? So let's go ahead and see if we could do that. So once I have that, I can use so the first loop I'm going to use is the for loop. So this is how the for loop works. So the for loop, you type for, then you have your statements right here, then you have what you want to do inside here. So for the for loop, what we'll call the initial. So that what we call the initial like this. Then you end your statement. Then you now have your condition. You end your statement. Then you now have your increments. All right. So one cool thing about using VS Code is that once you just type for like this, you see for loop, for loop. You see it here. So if you click on it, it should just give you like the auto-generated one. So exactly. So the first one here is your condition. Where should I be starting from? This second one here is your initial. Where should I be starting from? This one is your condition. While this one here is your increment. Now you will see most and developers using I. So they're just used to using I. They can say, remember, let is like saying var too as well. So it's basically the same thing. So if we still use var there to work, well, let's just use here let. I is equal to 0. So this is our initial index. So where do we want our index to start counting from? To start counting from what? 0. Then our condition, we say I less than array. So the array in this case now is names. What we want to loop through, that's what this array is standing for. Then dot length. Remember when we did length, this basically just give us the count of our array. So this stuff is going to be like 3 right now. As long as it will stop counting when I is anytime this thing is false, this loop will not work. So increment, so we'll say I plus plus. So plus plus is a property, or is an operator that adds just one value to our already existing value. So let's delete this. So the next I want to have now, we can now say console. This is what we'll do. We can now say console.log. Let's just use something like the name is, or let me use the word my name. My name is, so let's concatenate it and say names, then our loop here, then our index here. So let's see what we have. So you see here, my name is Samuel, my name is Peter, my name is John. So what this line does for us is that it looped through this thing. So if I come over and say comma and add a new figure or a new name here, say Peter, you're going to see Peter too as well. So if I say 0, simply means it's starting from 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's not going to have 4 because this length here is going to be 4. So by the time it is and this thing is false, this loop will stop working. So if I come over here now and say let it start from 1, Samuel should not be part of what it will show me again, because Samuel is 0. So you start from 1, which is Peter. So you say Peter, once you get here to increment. So if I wanted to start from John, I can say 2, right? So it will start from 0, 1, 2, 3. You get what I'm trying to say? So this one just determine the initial point, where is it going to start from. Now that we clearly understood the for loop, we have other loops too as well, like the for each loop. So we have for each loop too as well. So let's see what we could do with the for each loop. So with the for each loop works like this. So we'll have our array first like this. Then for each element, in other words, I could just type in name here now. So I can say for each element as this name here, do something. So if I come in here, right, I say console log my name is, this time around I'm not going to use this I, because you already say for each element inside here. So if I save it now, I'm still going to have my name is Samuel, my name, okay, let me hide this. So you're going to see it here. My name is Samuel, Peter, John. My name is Samuel, Peter, John, and the rest. So you could see that it will just look through it. So it's repeating Peter here because I repeated Peter here, right? Let me use another name, Ali. So it's just going to go through. So for each of this, let this particular thing happen, right? So you might actually want to use for each loop and say, okay, for each of this loop, what do you really want to do with it? So for each also work. So another loop again that we could use is so we have the for in loop. So but for in loop is for objects, right? Probably we'll treat that later. So if you see for in loop right now, it works basically for objects. So for in loop is when you have like objects and you want to display the variable of the object. For example, variable person is equal to this. Now let's say let's use the word name. I wished I have okay, I'll just go and copy it. I don't need to wish it. Samuel, let's have age here too as well, 22. So with this one now we can loop through this particular person. So for example, so this is person. So for constant key in, for each key in this particular object called person, so put it here. So there is this object has own property dot call that comes in here. We'll put our other person here too. So the element now becomes object dot key, so which is the same thing as well, person dot key. So we get our element. So if we come over here, we say console dot log element. So let's see what it's going to give us. Element. So we're going to have name, Samuel, and 22, right? So this is it will just display all the keys for us and the value of the keys, Samuel, 22. So I think that is also great too. So it's really, really amazing. So for each for in, help us loop through an object. So this is how you loop through an object. So let's comment this one out. Let's try another kind of loop because I'm giving us different options. So the next one that we'll try is map, right? All right. Okay, this is not coming up the way I want it to come up. So for map, we'll have something like names, like this, which is this other one. The array that I want to loop dot map, like this. Then the map on its own is an object. So this is more or less like ESC's feature. So the map on its own is an object. The map carries two things. It carries the value and it also carries the key of the array that you want to loop, and most or less a callback function, right? So you have something like this that looks like an arrow, then a curly braces is a callback function. Then in this callback function, we can choose to console log. So let's console log the value. So so um so right now we could say names does this, but let's console log value and see what it will give us. Value and save. So you see it's giving us Samuel, Peter, John, Ali. That is all of this value. That's what it's giving us, right? So if we console log the key is going to be the index of the array position 0, 1, 2, 3. Amazing, right? So what we just need now is the value. So even if we copy the same thing here, say my name is John. So we've looped through this using map instead of using what? The for loop. So the same thing the for loop gives us, we'll use this to do it. So this same thing here can be done using for loop, can be done using for each loop, can also be done using what? Can also be done using map, right? So same thing, same results, three different ways. Now apart from that too as well, we have what we call the while loop as well. So let's try the while loop. You see it's while statement. See, you have condition here. So this condition could be the same thing as this condition. Let's say I less than array.length, which is the count. So all we just need to do now is to define the initial value of I. Say let I equal to 0, so which is going to be the initial value of I. So we can come over here now, we can now say console.log this particular, not this now. So we need to console log something like this other one here. Console.log I, then we need to increment I. We now say I plus plus. Right, let's save this. So same thing. So while loop does the same thing again. So my name is Samuel, my name is Peter, my name is John, my name is Ali. Right, same thing. Console.log. So while start to, this is our initial, this is our condition. This was everything we want it to happen. Then after everything, we can choose to what increment it. So while loop also function a little bit like for loop, but in this case, I'm using our conditional statement. So I'm going to have this here. Right, so in actual practice, where you see all this loop thing being used is when we have like an array of data that we actually want to export. So this brings me to one of the things I would love to discuss. So let me go to our object here. I want to look for an object that we've created before. So an object of person. Let me just copy this one here, object of persons. Come over here to my loop here and technically just paste it here. So we have this now. Remember, we created this in the previous lesson. So just in case you've not seen the previous lesson, this is a playlist. You can go back and watch it, right? That's why we have this particular one here. So we created this particular stuff in the previous lesson. And let's say now we want to loop through it, right? It is easier for us to loop through this thing now and display everything that we want to display in here. All we just need to do now is pick any of the loops. So let's pick the for loop. So let's this one. Let's pick the for loop. The for loop needs to go. We'll now say persons. We'll now say persons. So we just with this, we've actually looped through it. So now we are in every one of it now. So let's console log this. So let me just show you. So let's just remove the concatenation. So each one is going to be something like this. See, instead of me to, it's not names I'm supposed to console log, it's persons. Alright, so it's going to look like this. So you see, we've console log each of the objects because this is an array of objects. So where is the array of object this? And this array of objects, we have three values. We have person Samuel, we have person Abigail, and we also have person Sharon. So 3. So you could see now that we'll be able to access those 3 of each here, right? So each of these now is the objects. So we're able to console log through each of it. So if we want to come over here and do something like let's say there is something that we did in the previous video. I'm trying to remember it. My name is, let me use the word let's put it everything into sentence. My name is whatever name, then let's add comma there, let's add the plus sign there to come plus my name is let me use the word something years old. So this is where we put age plus, so person, this one now be person dot, so you see name here, there is age there, person dot name, person dot name, how many years age old, let's bring this one too as well. This is going to be person dot age, right? Then what do we have again? Okay, let's do, I don't know if all of them have hobbies, so let me confirm. So we already have it here now, you see. So let me check if, so let's just leave this two. This two is okay. You can see it. My name is Samuel, I'm 25. My name is Abigail, I'm 20. My name is Sharon, I'm 28. So you see this right now. So we've been able to use the same thing to do that. So we've looped through, sorry, we've looped through this array of persons, right? And we're able to display their name and their age. So we could still go ahead and display any other value that we have inside there, their email, their countries, their hobbies, if we want to, right? Right, so I have the following hobbies, we'll put that there. We could use it to do that, to string, to just display all of the hobbies, right? So that's how you loop through an array of objects. So you could also map through an array of objects. So where is that map again? This is it here. Let me console log this one. So we can now say instead of persons, let this one be persons. Then we have value. So value now is our so let's, instead of value here, let us call this one a person. So let me copy this line because I don't want to type it again. I'll paste it here. So since we already have it as person, so we don't need this I anymore. No, with map now, we don't need to use I anymore. So like this works. Right, so you could see it here, line 3, it displays 3 times, right? So I don't need to do that. All right, let's comment this one out, and let's console log now. Let's see, console.log person. So you see it here, person.name. All right, so I've seen the error, the mistake I made. I went to say persons instead of person, right? So it should be person, this one that is inside here, no persons. Let me comment this one out so you see it again. My name is Samuel, I'm 25. My name is Abigail, I'm 28. 20. My name is Sharon, I'm 28. So the same thing that we did without that single one, we could still loop through an array of objects, right? So it's really cool. And again, and if we go furthermore, we could still extract, let's say, if we want to loop through this and want to loop through an object. So how do we loop through an object? So looping through an object is a little bit critical. So let's see how we can loop through an object. If you want to loop through an object, let me comment all of these things. It's becoming too much in my eye. All right, if you want to loop through an object, the first thing you want to do is to convert the keys into an array. So what we're going to do now, we're going to say, let's use variable, let's say name key, let's say keys of name, let's use that one, keys of names is equal to, we will now say our objects, we will now say, we'll now say stuff like objects capital letter, objects dot keys in brackets, the array in this case is names, right? So let's console log it and see what it give us. Console.log keys of name. So if we do this, you are going to see all the key 0, 1, 2, 3. So what is 0, 1, 2, 3? That is this other one here. Oh, we did the wrong thing. Let's pick this one. Let's pick name. All we want to do is person. All right, so we are going to see 2 things here. So we are going to see what? Name and age. Fantastic. So now this is how you loop through an object. So for you to loop through an object like this, no, this other one is an array. But for an object on its own, the first thing you want to do is to get the keys. So we've not converted the keys into an array. So now we can now loop through the array. So right now we can now say something like for. So let's loop through it. Let's change it to I as usual, makes it shorter. Then this one now will come over here. We'll now say, okay, so now we are now looping through this particular array, name and age. So for I is equal to 0, I less than keys. This keys now is this name and age, right? And so we'll loop through it. So let's copy this thing and see if we can console log it, right? So if we come over here right now and say we want to console log I, right? So we'll come over here and do something like this. I. So we should be able to get name and age, right? So let's see. So we've gotten it name, and age. So now for us to get all of this person here, we can come over here now and say console log. This is what we are going to say now. So we're going to come over here now. We're going to say, let's say this one name. Let's concatenate it and say is. Let's put a space here too as well and concatenate it again. Now we'll choose that object, which is this person. Now we'll now say person. Come now and type person using the array bracket right now. So person is the object, remember. Then now we can now copy all of this like this, and let's paste it inside here now. So once we save it now, we'll see we've looped through the object. Name is Samuel, age is 22, right? So with this now, we could actually easily just loop through any object. So we've learned several even complex looping, actually a lot of things in this short video. So we learned how to use for each to loop, how to use for in to loop through an object, how to use map to loop as well, how to use while to loop as well. Then last but not the least, how to use this object.keys to loop through an object, right? So we've learned how we can do that, right? So if you have any questions, do let me know in the comment section. I will be answering those questions. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.